Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town Council public meeting for January 2nd, 2024. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We'll start with roll call. Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. Nick Recupito.
Here.
Chuck Becker.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Mary Joan Dixon.
Here.
Richard Teal.
Here.
I am present. David Austin.
Present.
And I'd also like to note that Margaret Abernathy, Administrative Assistant, is present this evening. We will begin tonight with the election of officers. Town Council President. Is there a nomination for Town Council President?
I nominate Nick Recupito.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Greg Parker, a second by Mary Joan Dixon. Are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, we will close, and we will go with roll call. Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera. Yes. Nick Recupito.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Teal.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
I thank all my peers up here for this opportunity. I guess my wife isn't thanking you guys, but I'm thanking, and I thank all you guys for being involved in this this journey that we're all about to be on. So, thank you, and please keep showing up. So,
Thank you.
Thanks for your help there, Jennifer.
Yep.
Item number 2 is Town Council Vice President. Opening up nominations for Town Council Vice President.
I'd like to nominate Greg Parker.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a nomination on the floor for Greg Parker for Vice President. Any other nominations? Nominations are now closed. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera. Yes. Nick Recupito.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Teal.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Welcome back, guys. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all the new members and us current members, old members, I guess I should say. And I would like to just take a brief second and start with Mr. Kubiak. If you could just introduce yourself, your position, we'll just move on down the line. So everybody knows who we're dealing with here.
Tim Kubiak, Director of Operations.
Todd Wilkeny, Fire Chief.
Bill Fisher, Police Chief.
Margaret Abernathy, Town Administration Administrative Assistant.
Yes, Bob?
Bob Carnahan, Cedar Lake Town Council.
Julie Rivera, Ward 2.
Chuck Becker, Ward 4.
Greg Parker, Ward 5.
Nick Recupito, Ward 3.
Mary Joan Dixon, at large.
Richard Teal, at large.
Jennifer Sandberg, Clerk Treasurer.
Dave Austin, I'm the Town Attorney.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We're going to go on to public hearing, ordinance number 1456, public way vacation, continued public hearing for Rago.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I received a letter today. In fact, it was addressed here to the town hall. I was copied on it from Attorney Weezer in consideration of the deferral request on this matter.
Okay.
I did talk to Mr. Weezer today, and he confirmed that to me, and I indicated to him I would report accordingly to you.
Okay. And I think I got a copy of this letter as well, Mr. Austin. It was some consideration for the start of the year, new council, everybody can get their footing, and...
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion to defer.
Until February, first February.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Parker. Any discussion?
What was the date? For which meeting?
First meeting in February.
Thank you.
First.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teel?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. We're gonna move on to public comment on agenda items. Public comment on agenda items only. Do you have any?
And, if I could, it's my understanding we're not gonna have the same policy that we had last year, that if somebody gets up and speaks, we'll try to answer your question to the best of our ability, and if we can't, we will get back with you later.
Absolutely. That's how I've run my meetings, Bob, and we'll continue to do it that way. We'll keep everything as civil as possible and have discussions with our neighbors. You guys all cool with that?
I agree.
All right. So with that being said, anybody here for public comment on agenda items? Ms. Amber, did you have anything submitted
No
online?
hands are raised online.
Okay, thank you. Public comment on agenda items closed. We'll move on to consent agenda. Grounds use approval, use of town grounds for June 28th to July 11th, 2023 for the annual Summerfest event. Dates include setup and tear down and cleanup dates. Event to be held on January 4th, 5th, 6th, I'm sorry, July 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Any discussion on this item? Ms. Abernathy, did you have anything for us?
They have had their dates reserved for quite some time. They're just wanting a confirmation until such time as the contract resolution can be approved by the council, once we have the resolution. But in order to get their fireworks permitting and so forth going, they just need to make sure that they have those dates confirmed before they can go forward. I do not have anything in writing for you. This came as a verbal request.
Okay, and we're good on the town end for these dates?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, any other discussion on this item? If not, do we have a motion to approve these dates?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teel for approval of these dates. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera? Yes. Nick Recupido?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teel?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 1473, Pinecrest rezone from resort to a planned unit development. This received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission on September 20th of this year. It was deferred by the town council, last year, and it was deferred by the town council on December 19th of 2023. Ms. Abernathy, do you have anything for this? Or Mr. Vitt, hi, how are you?
Mr. President, doing well yourself?
Just fine, thank you.
Good. Congratulations for the appointment. Congrats to all the fine members on town council. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you have for us, sir?
Yes, so what we have here is a Pinecrest rezone from resort to a planned unit development. We're all familiar with this piece. About a year and a half ago, my client received approval to implement about a 40-foot tall building for boat storage. It's a great need that's on the lake there, and in looking at this particular area, there's a lot going on in this small couple acres, including the storage of boats, including business operations, repairs going on site, as well as recreational use, and recognizing that a variety of those uses encompass a variety of zoning areas within the code. And meeting with your staff, town council, we discussed that it would be prudent and appropriate to develop a planned unit development for these couple of acres so that we can harmoniously blend all the marina and related business uses. So we've worked extensively with town staff, with Don Oliphant, to ensure that we've got a good drainage plan for all the developments that are going on out there. We've got a proposed development plan that's going to take place over the next couple of years. I think it's going to be really exciting. It's going to significantly enhance the boat storage on the lake. It's going to beautify that area. We're going to enhance the marina that's there, an opportunity in place for folks to drop off their boats to have them repaired, as well as it sets the stage for my client to potentially have other uses down the road if we're able to find those uses, such as a restaurant. We can't promise anything, but it is set up appropriately for that to be there.
as well. So we've had extensive revisions back and forth with Mr. Osh. I think the only other item that he and I briefly discussed is that we'll just add an addendum to the ordinance that just plainly lists A through G, what all the exhibits are, and I'll get that over to him. They're scattered throughout the 3 different documents that are in front of you. But I believe other than that, we're in good order.
That's how I have it.
I have a question here, Mr. Viss, is Christopher Burke's letter in here from September 15th. There's a number of items that it says not addressed. Have those been addressed, or do you know?
They've all been addressed, yes.
Okay, because that's the only letter that's in the packet, so
Yeah. That was
I
the-
needed to ask that question.
Correct, Mr. Carnan, that's a good question. That's the last letter that we received, and those matters were handled on the record at the September 27, 2023 meeting, and those minutes are incorporated as well.
All right.
Okay. Good question.
Mr. Osborne? Yes, sir.
Any action you would consider this evening, I would ask the council to include the finalization of the document, the exhibits, if you will, to be appended. The document be entirely complete, and that your signatures be withheld until we get that done. We're on the cusp of having all that. It's the gathering of the instruments themselves and putting them in sequence.
So it's ready otherwise?
One exception. Nathan will get back to me the quick claim deed clean. We exchanged that today.
There's actually 2 items. I think we still need the final September 27 meeting minutes. Those will be approved, I think, in the
I
next
thought those were done.
2 weeks or so. We'll add that, and then there is a quick claim deed that transfers. There was a small little parcel in the channel that the town is quick claiming over to my client. So I'm looking at the revised version, and we've got a sales disclosure form, so that'll be ready for your signature probably tomorrow or next day.
Okay. So that would also be contingency on this approval? Would it be review of the quick claim deed
I
and?
just did review it today. It came in today to me. It'll need to be cleaned, but that's what we do every day.
Okay. Anybody have any discussion? Our new members, obviously, you guys are getting thrown into the mix right now today. Get a chance to take a look at this. Greg, you obviously have a lot of background in this, serving on the planning commission.
I've looked at it, and it was vetted heavily at the planning commission for the PUD zoning and other things, drainage and recovery and some things of that nature. I think the only question that I have currently, and this came up today in some discussion, is there was some scraping of the lake bottom in this, and I don't remember the dialogue with that. Can you refresh my memory on any of that?
I
I think it was called sea bottom.
I don't think we discussed the scraping of the sea bottom. My client intends to get a permit from the DNR to scrape away the edges when he redoes the edges surrounding the entirety of it. There's going to be a new seawall that's put in.
That's gonna be at his expense?
Correct. When he redoes the edges of the marina area. Correct. That's going to be at his expense. I would anticipate the excavators as they're going in, will have
That
DNR
has to be
approval.
permitted by the state.
And that's, yep, Mr. Parker, that's built into the timeline that we had. We put that out about 2 years, not knowing how long that approval process might take.
Okay.
Yep. But that is definitely part of the timeline, the DNR approval for that.
Any other questions there, Greg?
I don't.
Any of the other members have any questions or discussion, comments?
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Greg, didn't you have a question about the dredging component of this and it being connected in some fashion or not connected to what is going on the lake itself?
Well, that was kind of pertinent to the question I asked.
Give you a public record of that.
If it was gonna be at the owner's expense, and that's what Nathan said here, or I was concerned there was it was brought up to me that was covered in a change order with the echo restoration, and I don't remember any discussion about that, and if that was the case, it would be covered at the taxpayer's expense. But Mr. Viss has gone on the record saying it's gonna be at the owner's expense.
Well, let me clarify. I've not been part of any conversations about dredging happening in the harbor. To the extent that we had dialogue with the Plan Commission, my understanding was that when excavators came in to redo and to pound down new siding, that there was going to be a scooping out there. As to whether or not there is dredging going on in the middle, I have no idea if there was separate agreement with.
This would be like shoreline dredging is what?
Correct, correct. That's the plan that my client has, it's been shared with me.
Does
for this
anybody else
particular-
have any knowledge of it?
No, I did read that as well, I think in the PUD agreement, Greg, and I was wondering the same thing myself too, so, well, we've
Yeah,
got,
there's nothing, Mr. President, that binds the town to use the dredging equipment that's out there to dredge the Marina Harbor. That was not discussed at all at the Plan Commission, not anticipated within this land unit development. The only thing that we discussed was being able to redo the vinyl walls there on the edge, and Mike Benfield clean those out because they're caving in.
The seawall in particular?
Correct, absolutely, yep.
is that sufficient?
Question.
Well, if that clarifies it, I mean, it's on the record.
No, that's it. I want to make sure you got your answer.
Yeah,
Sounds like you did.
thank you.
Yep.
All right. If there's favorable action on this ordinance, Mr. Austin, is it just, simple, is there a reading of the ordinance we have to have?
This is a zone map, a mandatory ordinance, requires one reading, and any conditions that you impose based upon things we talked about here tonight.
Okay. So, Mr. Parker,
Which exhibit is that?
it would be ordinance number 1473.
2OR1-Ord 1473.
That's by title. The bold.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Is there a new number?
Ordinance number
It just says
1473.
1473 here.
Yes.
An ordinance reclassifying certain lands in the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana for zoning purposes and amending town zoning ordinance number 1402 being the zoning ordinance of the town of Cedar Lake, County, Indiana, passed and adopted by the town council of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, the first day of March 2022, and all amendments passed subsequently thereto.
All right. Thank you, sir. If there's no further discussion, do we have a motion on this item?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 1473.
With the contingencies that Mr. Austin stated, can you please go over
Holding
that?
signatures pending the exhibits being clarified and appended. Should be the only thing you really need.
With Mr. Austin's contingency.
Holding signatures pending.
Organization of the exhibits
Okay.
to the document. It's a recordable instrument, it all has to be right. Oh, and the quick claim deed he's gonna get.
Okay. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Rivera, seconded by Mr. Becker, to adopt this ordinance for the rezone, with the contingency that we will withhold signatures until the organization, or for the organization of the exhibits to the documents. Is that sufficient, Mr. Austin?
It is.
Okay. Any questions on the motion? Any discussion? You clear, Mr. Biz? Okay.
We're good.
All right, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 7-0. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 of ordinances and resolutions is ordinance number 1483, Centennial Plan Unit Development Amendment, which received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission on December 20th, 2023. Mr. Parker, would you like to read the ordinance by title only? It's the next one, 1483.
Ordinance number 1483, an ordinance approving an amendment to the PUD Plan Unit Development District approved under Town Ordinance 962 and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Good evening, Richard Anderson, 9211 Broadway, Maryville, Indiana. I represent 133 LBM LLC. This parcel is 16.2 acres, and it's shown on the GIS here. Basically, it is an amendment and a restatement of the PUD that was approved in 2006. And that's why the title of the ordinance goes back not to your zoning ordinance, but to Ordinance 962, which is the ordinance that was approved back in 2006. As part of this, the Plan Commission made its favorable recommendation on December 20th of this year. The revisions to the plan since 2006, and all of these, if you look at the Section 1 of the ordinance, are adopted inside the ordinance, are covered by it. So the front and rear yard shall be increased from 10 to 20 feet. A redesigned townhouse design shall be permitted as shown on Exhibit B, and your Exhibit B is the one that's here, should be attached to your ordinance. The individual townhome will be front-loaded instead of rear-loaded. The exterior of the townhome shall include 5 color variations. The total density of Centennial community will be reduced from 20 units per acre, which was approved in 2006, to 8.03 per acre. The developer will install a 6-foot tan PVC privacy fence along the north and west boundaries of the property. The north and west boundaries of the property, you have the railroad tracks on the west, but then on the other side of that you have industrial. So that's the reason for that. And that also the developer, at the time that any of these lots are purchased, there will be the units, the owner who's going to buy them will get a notice on a rider that says that they are buying property that's across from an industrial area on the other side of the fence. So there's no secrets there as far as where they're at. In addition to that, we have a December 15th, 2003 letter from Don Oliphant, who works for Christopher Burke, regarding the project, and there's been some resubmissions since then, but basically we're making it subject to any of his statements in there that it will be met, plus any other things that come up with regard to engineering. They're basically based on the town engineer. And then the preliminary plat, which is drawing at the bottom here, is basically was approved by the Plan Commission of Cedar Lake, and that basically comes, I think, in December also. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Well, Mr. Austin, what do you have for us?
Well, first of all, very creative lawyering and very good lawyering on that rider, the disclaimer notice. I saw that and reviewed it, and I stuck it in my form file, to be honest. That was good. People get to know. Secondly, this has been a project that, well, since 2006, Richard?
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of like the parcel the town owned or rezoned where the railroad was going to pass through, and we could put 200 units a foot in the ground. It was horrible in terms of the density, if you will. So we've got a reduction here from 20 units down to 8.3. That's something that was presented from the very beginning about why this is attractive. It might not be to you, but it's been presented that way to our Plan Commission, and the net result of that was the Plan Commission gave a favorable certification to you. This was a good project plan. The developer came in every month since January, pretty close.
Right.
And Mr. Anderson here in the last 3 or 4 months as they came to the finish line. So they did everything the Plan Commission asked, and they're here for your approval. It looks good from legal and planning side.
Okay. So the letter, as Bob mentioned earlier, we had a letter for Pinecrest from Christopher Burke, and those outstanding items are being addressed internally with our engineer?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Any action you take should be contingent upon that being completed, those items being cleared.
Okay.
And that's also in the ordinance.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion?
What about the water on the west side?
Good question,
Right.
Mr. Becker. Who is vetting our water and sewer utilities for these projects? Have you had any discussion with anybody here regarding the capacity?
Not to speak for Mr. Parker, but he did ask the question at the plan commission, and I think he got a favorable response from
I did. And nobody's crazy about this type of development these days.
Right.
But this is one of those things that's been hanging out there for 18 years or so. And, it's just part of finishing up that subdivision the way it was zoned and platted at that time, and it is better than it was when it was originally platted, so.
We got water?
Was confirmed that we have water for it. I mean, based on the information that I have to rely on.
I'm just asking, Mr. Anderson, because this group here is gonna be involved in a lot of discussions and meetings with staff and engineers and legal to figure out the status of these utilities in the coming weeks and months, so.
I think this is, yeah, and you've done this for the last 5 or 6 years because you've got a lot of development here, so you're right.
So the bottom line is this was given approval years ago for a much denser plan,
Yes.
worse plan. And this is a major improvement. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Austin? Okay. Do you have any action on this item, any motion for this Centennial PUD amendment?
Being that it received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission, I'd like to approve 1483. Dave, it's contingent upon the Christopher Burke items being cleared.
I'll
Is
second.
that correct?
Yes.
All the documents in this one are clean, ready, and organized fashion. This could go and be recorded tomorrow if approved and signed tonight.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Rivera, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve this ordinance 1483 for Centennial PUD. The contingency that the engineer's items will be addressed. Any questions on the motion? You clear, Mr. Anderson?
I am.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item number 3, ordinances and resolutions. Resolution number 1346, temporary loan 2017 A, B, and C bonds. Jennifer, would you like to take this one?
Sure. Do you want me to read by title, or you want Mr. Parker to still do that?
Actually, yeah, let's have Mr. Parker read that one by title, 1346.
Resolution number 1346, a resolution of authorizing a temporary loan for the 2017 RDA A, B, and C bonds of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Sandberg?
Council members, this is the resolution for a temporary loan from the wastewater treatment plant special fund number 633 to the 2017 RDA A, B, and C bond fund number 412. I am requesting the temporary loan of $193,587.44. This is so we can make the lease rental payment that is due January 15th. Upon receipt of the fall 2023 settlement, we repaid the previous temporary loan that was approved back in July of 23, and thus, upon repaying that temporary loan, that left not enough funds within 412 to make the January 15th lease rental payment that is due. This is an unfortunate timing issue with DLGF that unfortunately we just have to write out for the remainder of this bond. We don't have the issue with any of our other, debt service. It's just the way things timed and came together, 2017 issuance that predated me, so I can't really give you much more.
Okay.
And we do this every year.
We do, and then we turn around, we repay it, we turn around, we do another temporary loan. It's just that timing and the dates of when the lease rental payment has to be paid by so that the debt service payment can be made.
And we're not getting ourselves deeper in the hole each time we do this, we're
No,
okay?
it literally just kind of rolls and then eventually we'll be good.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
these bonds build roads in our town. So it was important to get this done when we got it done. And we're chasing the payments, but we're not falling behind. We're actually satisfied.
Okay.
Just catching it to do so.
Okay. Fair enough. Any other questions? Discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 1346, temporary loan for the 2017 A, B, and C bonds.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Ms. Dixon to approve resolution number 1346. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Keel?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. We're gonna move on to new business. I would like to solicit a motion to amend the agenda to add a personnel item. Some kind of extraordinary circumstances that I think we have to address tonight. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal. Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Keel?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 7-0. We would like to add this item to the agenda, and we can discuss it right now. We have town manager position to fill. We have a vacancy. We have somebody that we proposed hiring. Would you like to speak on that, Mr. Vice President?
Yeah, we have a vacancy in the town manager spot, and we thought that was gonna kinda be the case, and we have a gentleman in the community that has a background in urban planning. He's homegrown, business owner, and not connected to any political machinery. And at this point, I'd like to, well, his name's Jeff Pungy, he's in the audience. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Bungie, would you like to come up here?
No, not really.
No? Well, you can't have this job if you can't speak, so. If you'd just like to introduce yourself for those that are unaware.
Well, my gosh, 80% of you guys are friends with neighbors, so I don't know what else I can say. A little choked up by this. I served this community, 26 years on the BZA, 50-year resident, business owner for decades. I do have a bachelor's degree in urban affairs from Indiana University. So these guys came to me and said, we're kind of in a bad way, you want to help us out? And I'd say yes.
I had the pleasure of working with Jeff, got my feet wet in all this government stuff on the BZA, and he's a man of integrity, honesty, and he lives here, so that means a lot. You got the basics all down, Jeff.
He knows an awful lot about this community and the people who live here, and I think he knows how we think and where we want to go.
So,
Anybody have any questions for Jeff? I would, being that this is an agenda item, I would like to open this up for public comment for the folks. And I apologize it was not on the agenda, but like I said, it was extraordinary circumstances, but I'd like to give you all a chance to speak if you have any questions or concerns. Anyone from the public like to speak?
Donna Corey, 14605 Bryan Street. I am very overwhelmed and happy to hear that you guys nominated Jeff or offered him. I've known him since high school for how many, that's what, 40-something years. Known him when we went to IU Bloomington. It's amazing if you go back in history and look at exactly what a town manager represents in Cedar Lake. I feel like we got St. John, Cedar Lake, St. John, Cedar Lake. Every last 3 town managers have come from St. John. I feel St. John's like a little iffy right now, if you saw the meeting last night, and, watched this. So I hope that somebody that is homegrown, that we never got somebody from another area to come here, will make a big difference in our town.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Thank you. Anybody else? Public like to speak?
Gail Brannan, 7014 West 139th Place. I just want to say that I fully endorse the pick for Jeff Fungi. I think he's an upstanding citizen, and it's a very good thing for our town to have somebody from town here watching what's going on and being a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brandon.
Carl Spring, 7326 West 143rd Avenue, Cedar Lake. I've known Jeff and his family for a long, long time. Their family established roots in this town many, many, many years ago. They've established a number of businesses. They've supported the local charities. They've been involved in the Legion. They've been involved in a number of different things related to the JCs and everything. To have someone who knows the town, knows the people, and, as you pointed out, no political agenda, I believe it's important for everything that we're trying to accomplish with the new board. You have a lot on your agenda, and I think to begin the journey fresh, with a new face, without an agenda, I think is the right way to go.
He's got a lot on his plate now, too.
He has a lot on his plate.
What's your number?
I've known him for a long time. I know he likes to eat, so I think we're all good there, all right? So, I would support that myself.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
Anybody else want to toot Jeff's horn? All right, Ms. Amber, we don't have anybody chiming in online, do we?
No hands are raised.
Okay, all right. Thank you all for your comments. Oh.
I have one. Although I was born here, I'm rather new. Oh, Brenda Roberts,
Yeah.
15008 Moore Street. I accept what you're trying to add to your adjunct to the town manager. Everybody is for him. I've not been around very much, so Jeff, I don't know you very well.
Okay.
I don't know what his credentials are.
He has a degree from Indiana University. Is it Indiana?
Yeah, I heard
University?
that.
Indiana University,
Urban planning. He worked for the city of Chicago for a number of years before as a city planner.
actually, I only had a brief 8-month internship at the city of Chicago.
But he's worked in city government before in the state of Illinois, so.
Ms. Roberts? He's also was on the Board of Zoning Appeals for 26 years in town here. He's still serving. Him and I served together for a while.
Well, I'm glad to meet you then. Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll be pleased.
Okay, good. I hope I'll be pleased.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call. Okay. Public comments now closed. So what would we like to do here, folks?
Well, with that, I'd like to make a motion to officially hire Mr. Bungie and direct the town attorney to create a contract for him. Do we need details of that contract, Dave?
No, we have, town manager's contracts on file, lots of them. And I'll use that. You want any details out of any of them?
No, I just wonder what you needed to make this happen.
Can I peruse these before I?
No. I'm just kidding, Jeff. Obviously, you guys work it out.
Y'all good with that motion, Mr.
I'm
Austin?
good with that motion.
Okay.
I think I have my parameters anyway.
Okay.
Dialogue you've given me.
All right. Thank you all. We have a motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker, to hire Jeff Bungie as town manager and work on creating the contract and all the nuts and bolts.
To start on Monday, January 8th.
You okay with that?
That's the plan.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
I'll second.
No, it's been second.
Oh, wait.
Wait, you missed the vote.
Oh, I didn't hear you, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Chuck, I didn't hear you.
Sorry.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Any discussions on the motion?
I just want to clarify, I'm going to vote no. It's no reflection of my opinion on Jeff at all. I just feel like with so many new members, it would have been better to post this and maybe give it 4 to 6 weeks to do interviews. I'm just clarifying why I'm going to vote against it.
Okay. All right. Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
No.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Changing my name.
Mary Jo Dixon? Mary Jo? Richard Steele?
Yes.
All right. Motion carries 6-1. Welcome, Jeff. Looking forward to working with you. Okay. Hard stuff's all out of the way. Let's cruise. Town council appointments. We have appointments here. I'm going to list off the appointments for the liaisons and going to solicit a motion. So for Plan Commission, we have Bob Carnahan, Greg Parker, Chuck Becker. Board of Safety Commission, these are, like I said, these are liaison appointments. Julie Rivera and Bob Carnahan. Park Board, Julie Rivera and Mary Jo Dixon. Unsafe Building, Rich Teal. Stormwater Management Board, Julie Rivera. Joint Management Oversight Board, JMOB, Mary Jo Dixon and Rich Teal. Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission, Bob Carnahan. Lake County Solid Waste District, Nick Recupedo. And Lake County Community Services, Mary Jo Dixon. Do we have a motion to appoint these liaisons?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Bob, seconded by Greg. Any discussion on the motion?
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Next item up is Town Council Committee appointments. We're going to do it the same way. We've got the Ecosystem Restoration Committee consisting of Greg Parker, Julie Rivera, and Bob Carnahan. Public Works and Safety, as well as Parks and Recreation Committee, we have chosen not to fill those positions right now, and we can address that at a later date if we feel a need for these positions. Council Affairs Committee would be Mary Jo Dixon and Rich Teal. Streets Committee is Greg Parker, Chuck Becker, Bob Carnahan. Planning Committee would also be Greg Parker, Chuck Becker, and Bob Carnahan. Do we have a motion to approve these appointments?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Becker. Any discussion?
Do we need to clarify that for Public Works and Safety, we're keeping the 2 that are out there now, that have reapplied?
These are for the liaison.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the committee,
I skipped ahead.
for us, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll get to that. All right, any other discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes?
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
Greg Parker,
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Yes.
Richard Seal.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next up is appointments to boards and commissions. These would be our residents that would be serving in an appointed capacity for these various boards and commissions. The first one up is Board of Safety. We have some discussion on this item, I believe.
You
Mr.
want me to
Parker?
take that one?
Yeah.
We're not gonna, well, I take that back. We're gonna reappoint the current members to the Board of Safety that are there so the Board of Safety can function for the next month. And, we're hoping to then dissolve the Board of Safety and create a Metropolitan Police Commission and a Metropolitan Fire Commission. And separate the two entities. And in an effort, and I'm getting ready to surprise somebody sitting in the back of the room, the effort of the Metropolitan Fire Commission would be to see if it's viable to pursue a fire territory. Because the funding for the fire department and the public safety part with fire and EMS is continuing to be a financial burden the way it's currently structured. And there's nothing that says that the Metropolitan Fire Commission would, that fire territory would be the end result, but specking them to see the viability of that and the pros and the cons for a period of time to see if that is a viable option for a funding source for the fire and EMS long term. And we would like for them to work with the Hanover Township trustee currently to pursue ideas for that and possibly see if other communities are interested in pursuing that. So it might not be an end-all be-all solution, but we're not gonna know unless we pursue at some point what the benefits and the liabilities could be for that, so. Fire side would handle the day-to-day fire stuff, and the police commission would be the way that it was before with handling police business. So it's gonna be kind of a split entity is what we're hoping to pursue, and Mr. Oshu would need to draft an ordinance correcting, well, I guess eliminating the Board of Safety and,
We're actually going backwards. We came from having a Board of Metropolitan Police Commissioners and then added or appended later years a fire entity or commission entity and combined those into the Board of Safety that exists today, and that is the vehicle by which governance occurs, policymaking oversight today. So we're really kind of reversing tracks and going back to where we came from for the purposes you've indicated. And it's really important to note that you're at a glass ceiling on funding, level of service for fire. You're just at a glass ceiling. And the exploration and analysis of other sources that will provide quality level of service to our citizens is and can be found through a fire protection territory initiative. It isn't the only thing out there, but it has been created for these kinds of circumstances by the General Assembly. So you have an opportunity to at least explore it.
and that's all the pursuit is to explore it and see if it's viable. If it's not, we can always look for another plan at some point, but I think some time needs to be put into it to see what is viable for funding long term. So,
Yeah, sustainability, right?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we'll have these discussions, we'll do our fact finding here, and then we'll have the public involved in these things as well as we get along. This is probably the best path forward, to keep things moving along.
And the potential for 5 members on both commissions. Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Good explanation. Any other discussion on that particular item or any questions? Okay, so with that being said, our Board of Safety appointments, we've got James Olthoff and Norman Stick. Building Corporation, we have Cheryl Parker, Margaret Jaley, Tracy Haskell. Park Board, we have Greg Marquardt. Plan Commission, we have Jim Hunley and Jerry Wilkening. Stormwater Board, we have Ben Concloe. Unsafe Building Department, we have Jeff Beal. And our council appointment to the BZA, which is a Plan Commissioner that we're appointing to serve on the BZA, is Mr. John Capora. Do we have a motion to accept these appointments?
Question quickly, Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am.
You now have an open seat on the BZA for the balance of Jeff's term.
Yep.
I didn't know if you wanted to do something there.
I think we decided that we're gonna get through this process with Mr. Austin and make sure we're all good with everything before we appoint to that position.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Before running it until then.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept these appointments?
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Carnahan. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
No, I'm good with everything but taking Donna off on 6.
Nick Recupero?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1. Item number 2 is authorize, I guess me, Nick Recupero, Town Council President, to sign the 2023-2 CCMG grant agreement and related documents. Who wants to take this? I know we have a letter in the packet which
I'll let
I could
Margaret.
read. Yes, Margaret?
Chris, previous town manager was your authorized signatory for that. Since he is no longer with us, we need a new signatory, and previously, it had been the town council president, so that's what we were going with, because we didn't know how long we would be without a town manager.
God bless you.
Okay. All right, thank you. We have a letter here that's in our packet from Indiana Department of Transportation. Says the Indiana Department of Transportation has completed the review and selection of projects for funding in the 2023-2 Community Crossing Matching Grant Fund Program. Your community was preliminarily been awarded $87,200 in community crossing matching grant funds based upon your estimates from your project applications. NDOT will be transmitting an award letter in the upcoming weeks. So that's what that's in relation to. So if you guys are okay with me signing those documents,
So moved.
do we have a motion? Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Rivera. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes?
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. On to reports, town council reports. Mr. Carnahan.
All right, the chamber trees have to be undecorated by the weekend, because the street department will be removing them on Monday. And also, Project Love Food Pantry is open tomorrow from 9 to 11:30. It's run by the Cedar Lake United Methodist Church. 2 weeks ago, I had eye surgery in the hospital, but they had 62 families that came in. Last Wednesday, only 13 came in. So I plastered it all over Facebook. If you know of anybody that's in need of food, we are there to serve the community of South Lake County, from 101st Avenue, all of South Lake County. So send the people there, we're there to take care of them.
Thank you, Bob. Any other town council reports? Town attorney, Mr. Austin?
No report.
Report. Ms. Sandberg?
Nothing at this time. We begin heavy reporting season.
All right. We're gonna skip over town manager, director of operations, Mr. Kubiak.
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay. Police department? Chief
Nothing at this time. I'll have a end of the year report for you guys next, council meeting in January, and, welcome as new town council members, so look forward to working with you.
Thanks, likewise, thank you, sir. Chief Wilkening?
I just have one question about the newly, fire commission that's gonna be put together. Are we still under the Board of Safety until then?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Nothing changes till it changes.
okay.
I-
There's also a position available for the Board of Safety.
Correct.
Okay,
That'll get addressed at that time as well.
okay.
Ms. Abernathy, I apologize. Ms. Dixon reminded me that you're here, kind of representing the town manager's office. Did you have anything for us?
Nothing new at
Okay.
this time. I think Jen has pretty much been really great at making sure anything that I've brought to her gets to you. So I think we are all good, unless you have any questions for me that you need answers for.
Working as a team.
Working as a team, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you,
I
ma'am.
have another thing, Nick.
Yes, please.
And Jen, Republic is raising our rates, correct?
In June is when the next increase within the contract occurs.
And it isn't, fit into the contract where it automatically increases.
Okay, so you're thinking ordinance. So your rate ordinance has a set amount for the garbage rate that is charged per dwelling unit, in town. That's $20. You guys approved that last in '21, I believe. So it's $20. But when the contract with Republic Services was approved, it was either a 5-year or 6-year contract. I have to go back and double check for you. And each year, it increases. So beginning with the June invoice, it will increase to $19.95 per dwelling unit. But our rate is only $20 per dwelling unit, is what we're collecting. You do not have a 100% collection rate, so that is something to take into consideration, preferably before June.
Yep, that was, when we discussed the sustainability plan, I didn't go into too much detail on it, Bob, because it's not binding, but that was something in that document that was a little bit alarming that we'll have to address, because I believe we run a deficit as the years go by, and we start subsidizing waste collection. So it's something that's gonna have to be talked about.
Since we got new people up here, I just want everybody to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, written communication, Ms. Sandberg?
I have not received any.
Okay. We'll move on to public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Public comment?
Somebody.
Good job.
Hi, my name is Jerry Connor, 10330 Paramount Way, here in Cedar Lake. I did apply for the Board of Safety, so is that application no good now, and we'll have to reapply, or what's going to happen with
The
that?
application's still good.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We're gonna choose from that list.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? One last call, public comment.
Again,
Please.
call Frank, 7326 West 143rd Avenue. All I want to do is say congratulations to you as a group. There's been a lot of turmoil in this town over the last few years. A number of the citizens who've lived here, who developed here, who grew up here, have felt that their voices were not heard, who felt that the agenda of the council, the agenda of specific members, was more in line with the contractors than the citizens, particularly. As you progress, as you appoint, as you monitor, I think everyone in this room just wants to make sure that as we move forward, the interest of the citizens is just as important as the interest of the contractors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Angie Michaelajczak, 12806 Lee Court. I just have a question regarding something that happened tonight about, it was with Pinecrest, and there was apparently a small portion of land owned by the town that was, that's going to be claim deed to the PDU, or the PUD development. And I was just wondering, as a resident, how do we find out about pieces of land that the town might own that they may be willing to sell? Because this is not the first time it came up. Last week, I was at a different meeting, and there is a small parcel by my home that a builder had inquired on possibly interest in purchasing it. And after that meeting, I had went to the town to speak to, she's not here today, but Ashley, and I asked her how we go about moving forward and possibly buying something like that. And she said, her response was it takes months, over 6 months, and that it's a silent bid. So I was just wondering if we can find out about that.
Sure, I'll give you a little, actually, Mr. Austin, would you like to give some background on this piece? I know it's pretty much useless piece at the end of a road. It's in the water, actually.
There are a couple questions you
Yes,
asked.
it's not specifically on that property.
No, but I just
Okay.
want to clarify that
Yes,
for
sir.
you too, so you
Okay.
understand, and then we'll get
And,
into.
and welcome everyone, thanks.
Thank you.
It's a .058 of an acre, 500 square feet, and it's landlocked.
Mhm.
So the only person or persons who could use that parcel would be the Pinecrest developer property owner. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
For continuity of the infrastructure that was gonna be built and is promised to be built in the PUD agreement.
Yes, I understand. It's not specific to that. I'm just
I wanna
asking
make sure
in
we answer
general.
the question.
Yes, sir, thank you, I appreciate that.
The other part is with regard to the parcels that you're referring to that exist.
Yes.
There are probably between 350 and 400 parcels
Mhm.
that were part of an initiative of a previous council to acquire for prospective future public use
Mhm.
by way of either trails, waterways. The parcels purchased, which were purchased by the benevolence of the Lake County Commissioners, were for those reasons. They can give the property to the municipality for public purpose if, in fact, the municipality goes through the statutory steps. We've done that on all of those parcels. So now they exist. When or how or if they'll be used is not planned yet.
I really appreciate that that whatever you guys are gonna keep it for, that you keep it, but as I'm saying, as I'm finding out next week, okay, well, this one wants to buy it and this one wants to buy it, but it's not well known to the residents. I mean, anyone would like to buy a little piece of land, watch fireworks or whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I was just wondering if we could find out anything about it.
Yeah, that's something that, it's been a topic of discussion, with some of us. You know, we've talked about it, kicked it around. There's quite a few parcels. Some of them, as Mr. Austin said, make sense to, be used for infrastructure improvements, and some of them probably will make sense to, put up for sale, out to bid, whatever, for residents to purchase.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Mr.
the town
Parker.
owning it all, but, I just think that it should be fair game if a builder wants to buy it, that the residents will be able to do that too.
Okay.
That's all.
Do you have anything to add, Mr. Parker? You were involved with a lot of that years ago.
No, it's been we've looked at an awful lot of stuff around town over the past 6-8 weeks, myself, Rich, and Chuck, and myself and Nick, and it's gonna take a little time to get acclimated with all of it,
Yeah.
but, and we need to find out what the plans are for some of this stuff that we have located as well. The answer is we don't know.
Yeah. I'm not trying to go buy up land. I would like it better if the town just kept it for drainage or parks or whatever like that. So I guess that I just wanted to express that, because like I said, it came up last week or the week prior that a builder wanted to buy it. Or even today, a quick quit claim deed? You know, how does that work, you know, that's all.
I think the consensus for us is some of it probably needs to be liquidated and get it back on the tax rolls.
Okay.
And put some money in the general fund? Was that where that would go, guys?
Yes, because we didn't actually spend anything on the parcels since they were just gifted to us.
Yeah, I like
so to speak.
the idea of putting the money in the general fund and getting it back on the
Well,
tax rolls.
Other,
yeah, but it was general fund, so.
But it's gonna take, I mean, it's day one here and we.
Sure.
some
I
of us
just wanted
already
to
had
just bring that,
discussion, but we're
since
gonna
it's a
look
new
at it.
year.
Yeah, now, maybe we could answer the question a little bit more thoroughly, but I think, a couple of years ago, we were selling some of these lots, didn't we? And what was the process, you know, for public notification and public involvement with this that we used
Thank you.
back then?
we did, actually, we did notice sales. I don't think we sold any.
Nothing sold?
I don't
Okay.
think so, and if there was one or two,
I think
that
there
would
was-
be the maximum.
I think there was one or two. It was a very small list of pretty insignificant parcels, but if I remember correctly, it was noticed, and then for a time period, we accepted bids back, sealed, and then took those under advisement at a public meeting, and I think it was only like 2 or 3 of them that we actually,
Okay.
There's a statutory provision, we follow it strictly, because we're required to. So,
And some of those bids were so low, we rejected them.
absolutely, there were some bids that were not meeting the, value.
Dave, if you could explain to her, I think she'd like to know what the process is to go through to purchase these properties, right?
I don't really need to know the process, I just want it to be fair. I just don't want it like, you know, behind, when you guys have discussions with the builders, say, oh, yeah, you can buy that. When, you know, maybe somebody else had interest in it, somebody that's a resident, that's maybe a adjacent property owner or something like that.
We're not talking
So-
to builders, ma'am. People that call my office about them or call here are just like you and me.
So I could check the GIS and see where it says Town of Cedar Lake and then call the office and say, can I buy? Okay, I did that, and, I was told that it takes months to even inquire about
The
it.
process is statutory, it's in the law books. So we are
Okay.
following the law in disposing of real property, which includes sale of these kinds of parcels to
Okay.
you or somebody like you.
Okay,
So when they want to tell you that because it's the truth. We don't want to tell you it's 6 weeks and
could I read the process somewhere? Could you give me the
I
information?
can get you the Indiana code, sure, that's what I go to.
Okay. So it's just in the Indiana code, Indiana code?
The real estate portion of the Indiana code,
Okay.
title.
All right, well, thank you.
Well,
I just wanted to bring it,
Yeah, and if we have these discussions regarding town-owned property, we're gonna be transparent about it. We'll
I
have
appreciate that.
discussions about
Yes,
it,
sir.
and everybody will be given a fair shot.
all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. President, if
Yes.
I may, back when we did the last bid, a process was started whereby we are keeping a spreadsheet of anyone interested in any parcels, any residents. I have a form in the office that is prepared that you can fill out, and we put you on that list so that if and when that property does go up for a bid, you would be you would receive notice along with everybody else so that you are notified directly.
Is that a new process?
No, it
Okay,
is
because I
not.
came to the town and that's what I was told. So I guess I have to come back and talk to you instead of anyone else?
If you stick around for a little bit after the meeting, I can give you one of the forms for you to fill out. and
I
I'll take
appreciate
and put
it, thank
on
you
the
very much.
spreadsheet.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, anything submitted online?
no hands raised.
Okay, anything the board would like to chime in about, or? You guys all ready to work? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, I want you guys to continue staying involved with this stuff, you know, a lot of times after an election year, we kinda lose our fire as residents, but keep coming, and you guys are the reason why we're doing all this stuff, so, if we're doing something wrong, you get up here and tell us, you know? You guys need to be steering the ship with us, so we thank you guys all for being involved in this.
We're your servants.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you. All right,
There is one hand raised now, if we may.
sure.
Meg, go ahead.
Hello. Meg Daly, 14819 Moore Street. I just want to congratulate the new members on the town council, and I look forward to seeing what you've accomplished by working together and working for us, the residents. And that's it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Ms. Amber?
Do you want to
No, that's the
mention about, just because there'll be openings later on for boards? So,
Go ahead, Joe.
well, with the possibility of us dividing the things, there are going to be more board openings. So people that didn't get on tonight, don't give up hope.
Yeah, with the public safety.
Yeah, public safety, right.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get working on that relatively quick, I would assume, right?
For February, I'm hoping to have the rest of it done.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you guys all participating. This meeting's adjourned at 8:15. Next meeting is Tuesday, January 16th, 2024 at 7 p.m.